Marcus pressed send on the email and checked the time, 11:43 p.m. The office floor was empty except for the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant sound of a custodian's vacuum. His reflection stared back at him from the darkened window, tired eyes, loosened tie, coffee-stained shirt. His phone buzzed, a text from Jennifer. "Are you coming home tonight?" He typed back, "Soon, just wrapping up." But soon was a lie he'd told so many times he almost believed it himself. Soon meant another hour. Soon meant falling asleep at his desk again. Soon meant missing another dinner, another bedtime story, another moment that would slip away forever. Marcus scrolled through his messages and saw 3 others he'd ignored, from his son David, "Dad. You said you'd help with my project?" From his daughter Emma, "Why didn't you come to my recital?" From his mother, "Call me when you can, sweetheart." He'd respond tomorrow. He always meant to respond tomorrow. Marcus minimized his messages and pulled up the presentation that was due Monday morning. The same presentation he'd been perfecting for 6 hours straight. It had to be perfect. Everything had to be perfect, because perfect meant promoted, and promoted meant he'd finally arrived. 5 years earlier, Marcus hadn't always been like this. There was a time when Sundays meant sleeping in with Jennifer, making pancakes with the kids, leading Bible study at church in the afternoon. There was a time when success meant having enough money to pay bills, enough time to coach David's soccer team, enough peace to pray without checking his email every 5 minutes. But somewhere between junior analyst and senior manager, something shifted. It started innocently. A promotion, then another, then another. Each one came with praise. "Marcus, you're going places. This company needs more people like you. You're executive material, son." The words felt good, better than good. They felt like oxygen. And Marcus learned quickly, the more he gave to work, the more recognition he received. So he gave more, and more, and more, until there was nothing left to give anywhere else. Jennifer noticed first. "Marcus, you missed David's game again. I know, I'm sorry. This merger is just... You said that last week. And the week before. Jen, this is temporary. Once I make VP, you said that when you made manager, then senior manager. When does it stop?" Marcus set down his briefcase, frustration creeping in. "I'm doing this for us, for our future. Don't you want David and Emma to have opportunities we didn't have? I want them to have a father." The words hung in the air like smoke. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to explain that she didn't understand the pressure, the demands, the expectations. But Jennifer's eyes were tired in a way that had nothing to do with sleep. "I'm trying," he said quietly. "I know you are," Jennifer replied, "but you're trying at the wrong things." She went upstairs without another word, and Marcus stood alone in their kitchen, the hum of the refrigerator the only sound. He pulled out his laptop. Just a few more emails, just a few more tweaks to that report, just a little more. The warnings stacked up like unpaid bills. His pastor pulled him aside after church one Sunday, one of the rare Sundays Marcus actually attended. "Son, I haven't seen you at men's group in months. Everything okay?" "Yeah, Pastor, just busy with work. You know how it is." Pastor Williams nodded slowly. "I do, but I also know how easy it is to let good things become ultimate things. Be careful you're not building a kingdom with the wrong king." Marcus smiled and nodded, but the words rolled off him like water off glass. Pastor Williams meant well, but he didn't understand. He wasn't in the corporate world. He didn't know what it took to climb this ladder. His daughter tried too. Emma was 7 and had been practicing piano for 3 months. Her recital was on a Saturday afternoon, and she'd been talking about it for weeks. "Daddy, you'll be there, right? I'm playing the song you like?" "Of course, princess, wouldn't miss it." But Friday night, his boss called. "Marcus, the investor meeting got moved to Saturday at 2. I need you there." Marcus's stomach dropped. "Sir, that's my daughter's recital." "I understand, but this is a $20 million deal. We need our best closer in that room." Marcus looked at Emma's recital invitation on the fridge, decorated with her careful drawings of piano keys. "I'll be there," he said. He meant the meeting. That Saturday, Marcus sat in a conference room with leather chairs and floor-to-ceiling windows, shaking hands and discussing profit margins. The meeting went well, exceptionally well. They closed the deal. Everyone congratulated him. "Marcus, you're a rock star. This is why you're going places." The praise felt good. It always felt good. But when he checked his phone afterward, he saw 14 missed calls and one voicemail from Emma, her small voice trembling. "Daddy, I looked for you. I kept looking, but you weren't there. Mommy said you had to work. I understand, but I wanted you to hear me play." The message ended with a small sniffle. Marcus sat in his car in the parking garage, phone pressed to his ear, and replayed the message 3 times. Each time, something in his chest twisted tighter. But when he got home, Emma was already asleep. And by Monday morning, he'd convinced himself that she'd understand when she was older. This was all for her anyway, wasn't it? The achievement 18 months later, the email Marcus had been chasing for 5 years, finally landed in his inbox. Subject: "Congratulations, VP Marcus Reed." He read it 3 times to make sure it was real. Vice President of Operations, corner office, 6-figure salary, company car, stock options. He'd made it. Marcus leaned back in his chair, a smile spreading across his face. All those late nights, all those sacrifices, worth it. He called Jennifer. "Babe, I did it." There was a pause. Too long. "Did what?" "I got VP. They just sent the email." "This is it. This is everything we've been working toward." Another pause. "We." Her voice was quiet, flat. "What? You said we, but this is what you've been working toward. The kids and I have been working toward having you home." Marcus's smile faded. "Jen, this is good news. This means more security, better benefits." "Marcus, I don't care about benefits. Do you know what David said yesterday?" He waited. He said, "Mom, do you think Dad even likes us? Because it feels like he likes his office more." The words hit like a fist to the gut. "That's not, I love you guys, you know that." "Do we?" Jennifer's voice finally cracked. "Because love isn't just words, Marcus. It's presence. And you haven't been present in years." "That's not fair, isn't it?" She took a shaky breath. "I'm happy you got your promotion. I really am. But I can't keep doing this. I can't keep being a single parent while you're married to your career." "Jennifer, I'm taking the kids to my sister's for a while. We need space. You need to figure out what actually matters to you." "Wait, don't." But the line was already dead. Marcus sat frozen in his office. His VP announcement email glowed on one screen. His wife's final words echoed in his head. He should go home, should chase after them, should fix this. But his boss walked by and knocked on the glass. "Marcus, congrats, buddy. Let's grab drinks to celebrate." And Marcus, on autopilot, stood up and followed, because at least at work, people were proud of him. At least at work, he was winning. The house was too quiet. Marcus came home at midnight to find lights off. No voices, no laughter. Jennifer had been serious. She'd taken the kids. He walked through rooms that felt like museums. Emma's drawings still on the fridge, David's soccer cleats by the door, family photos lining the hallway. Evidence of a life he'd stopped participating in. Marcus poured himself a drink he didn't want and sat on the couch in the dark. His phone buzzed. Work emails, already piling up. "Marcus, can you review this before Monday? Need your input on the quarterly report? Are you available for a call tomorrow?" They never stopped. The demands never stopped. And for the first time, Marcus wondered, what happens when you climb all the way to the top and realize you're standing there alone? He didn't mean to fall asleep on the couch, but exhaustion finally claimed him, and Marcus slipped into a dream that felt more real than waking. The courtroom. Marcus stood in a vast hall. The floor was glass, perfectly clear, stretching endlessly. Above him, the ceiling blazed with light too bright to look at directly. And in front of him, a throne, not metaphorical, not symbolic, real. Books lay open on pedestals, their pages filled with handwriting he recognized as his own. His life, every choice, every moment. A voice spoke, gentle but absolute, like the ocean itself had learned to talk. Marcus Jonathan Reed. His knees buckled. He fell. "You were given much, talent, intelligence, opportunity. I blessed the work of your hands so you could be a blessing. But you made your career your God." Images flashed before him. David's award ceremony, Marcus's seat, empty. Emma's dance recital, her eyes scanning the crowd, hoping. Anniversary dinners where Jennifer sat alone. Sunday mornings where his family worshipped while he answered emails in the car. Each image cut deeper than the last. Then he saw something worse. Angels, assigned to his family, standing with their hands empty. "We were sent to bless him," one said, voice heavy with sorrow, but he was never still enough to receive. "You climbed ladders," the voice continued, "but neglected your foundation. You built an empire but abandoned your home. You gained a title but lost your family. I was providing for them," Marcus's voice cracked. "You gave them money but withheld yourself. You gave them security but stole their peace." Scripture blazed across the space in letters of fire. "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul?" Mark 8:36. "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." Psalm 127. 1. Marcus wept. "Is it too late? Have I lost them?" The presence shifted, became almost tender. "I am the God of restoration." But restoration requires repentance, true repentance, not just regret, but change. Will you rebuild what you've torn down? Yes, anything. Then wake up and prove it. Marcus jolted awake on his couch, gasping, 3:17 a.m. His face was wet with tears. His chest ached. He didn't go back to sleep. Instead, he did something he hadn't done in years. He got on his knees and prayed. Not a quick prayer, not a "God bless this deal" prayer, real prayer, broken prayer, desperate prayer. "God, I've been building the wrong thing, chasing the wrong dream. I've sacrificed my family on the altar of success, and I don't know how to fix it. Please, show me." The next morning, Marcus called his boss before he could talk himself out of it. "Sir, I need to discuss my schedule." "Marcus, if this is about the Singapore expansion, it's about my family. I've been absent and I can't do it anymore. I need boundaries." Silence on the other end. "Marcus, you're VP now. The expectations are higher, not lower." "I understand, but if being VP costs me my family, I don't want it." More silence. "Let me think about it," his boss finally said. Marcus hung up, heart pounding, not knowing if he had just ended his career. But for the first time in years, he felt peace. 6 months later, Jennifer didn't come home immediately. Marcus didn't blame her, but he showed up. Every day he showed up. He left work at 6 p.m., no exceptions. He showed up at David's soccer games, even when David pretended not to care. He sent Emma voice messages. "I love you, princess. Praying for you today." He wrote Jennifer letters, real, handwritten letters, pouring out his regrets and his commitments. Weeks passed, then months. One Saturday, the doorbell rang. David stood on the porch, hands in his pockets. "Mom said I could visit, if I wanted to." Marcus's eyes burned. "I'd love that, son." They threw a football in the backyard for 2 hours, something they hadn't done in 3 years. As David was leaving, he turned back. "Dad? Yeah? Thanks for showing up." 1 year later, Marcus stood before his church, Jennifer and the kids in the front row. "I climbed every ladder," he said, voice thick. "Achieved every goal, but I was building a kingdom without the king. Success without surrender. Achievement without peace." He looked at his family. "God had to break me to remake me, and I'm grateful he did." His voice cracked. "If you're like I was, chasing dreams but losing your foundation, stop. It's not worth it. None of it is worth losing what truly matters." The congregation was silent. Emma reached for Jennifer's hand. David sat up straighter, eyes fixed on his father. "I used to think I was doing the right thing," Marcus continued. "Providing, building a future, securing our lives. And those things aren't wrong, they're good, but I made them ultimate. I bowed at the altar of achievement instead of surrender." He gripped the podium, steadying himself. Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." I got it backwards. I sought the things first and wondered why the kingdom felt so far away. An older man in the third row wiped his eyes. A young businessman in the back shifted uncomfortably. "The enemy doesn't always tempt us with obviously bad things," Marcus said. "Sometimes he tempts us with good things at the wrong time, with right things in wrong proportions, with blessings that become curses when we prioritize them above the one who gave them." He paused, looking down at his notes, then decided to abandon them. "I had a dream," he said. "I stood before God, and he showed me what I'd become. A man who gave his family his money, but not his time. His provision, but not his presence. His excuses, but not his love." His voice broke. "And when my daughter asked, 'Daddy, do you even like us?' I realized I'd lost something money could never buy back. Time, trust, moments that would never come again." Jennifer's tears spilled over. Marcus met her eyes across the distance. "But God is merciful. He gave me another chance, and I'm here to tell you, if you're where I was, it's not too late, but you have to choose today, now, before tomorrow becomes never." After service, a young man approached Marcus in the parking lot. "Mr. Reed," Marcus turned. "Yes? I'm James. The man looked down, shame coloring his face. "I work in finance, 80-hour weeks. My wife just had a baby 3 months ago, and I've barely held him. I keep telling myself, once I make partner, things will change. But hearing you today..." He trailed off. Marcus put a hand on his shoulder. "Things won't change unless you change them. The ladder keeps going up. There's always another rung, another promotion, another deal. You have to decide when enough is enough. But what if I lose my job? What if you lose your family?" James flinched. "I'm not saying quit," Marcus clarified. "I'm saying set boundaries. Leave at a reasonable hour. Be present on weekends. Protect what matters most, because the job will replace you the day after you die." "But your son? He only gets one father." James nodded slowly, something shifting in his eyes. "Thank you." 2 years later, the conference room was packed. Marcus stood at the podium, looking out at 200 business professionals who'd paid to attend this leadership summit. "When I was VP of Operations," he began, "I thought I had it all figured out. I was the guy who stayed latest, worked hardest, sacrificed most. I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor." Some heads nodded in recognition. "And I did achieve success by the world's standards. Corner office, 6 figures, respect from peers. But at home, I was failing catastrophically." He clicked to the next slide, a photo of Emma at her piano recital, eyes scanning the crowd. "This is my daughter at 7 years old, looking for me in the audience. I wasn't there. I was closing a $20 million deal instead." The room was silent. I told myself I was doing it for her, for my family, but that was a lie I needed to believe to justify my absence. The truth? I was doing it for me, for my ego, for the applause and recognition that felt better than anything waiting for me at home. He paused, letting the words settle. "Here's what I learned. You can be incredibly successful and completely empty. You can have everything and nothing at the same time, because success without purpose is just glorified busyness, and achievement without love is just loneliness in a nicer office." A woman in the front row was crying. A man in the back had his head down, shoulders shaking. "I'm not saying don't work hard," Marcus continued. "I'm saying work smart. I'm saying don't sacrifice the irreplaceable for the replaceable. Don't give your family your leftovers and call it love." He clicked to another slide, a recent photo of him and David throwing a football, both of them laughing. "This moment happened last Saturday. I left work at 5, said no to a client dinner, and spent the evening with my son. 5 years ago, I would have called that irresponsible. Today, I call it the most important meeting of my week." That evening, Marcus pulled into his driveway at 6:15 p.m. Not late, not rushed, just home. He could smell dinner cooking as he opened the door, heard Emma practicing piano upstairs, saw David's backpack dumped by the stairs. Normal, beautiful, home. "Daddy!" Emma came running down the stairs and launched herself into his arms. Marcus caught her, spinning her around. "Hey, princess, how was school?" "Mrs. Anderson said my essay was the best in class." "That's my girl. Tell me all about it at dinner." Jennifer emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She smiled, not the tired, resigned smile from years ago. A real smile, full and warm. "You're home," she said. "I'm home," he agreed, and he meant it in every possible way. 3 years later, Marcus sat in a coffee shop across from Samuel, a young man from church who'd asked to meet. "Thanks for making time, Mr. Reed," Samuel said nervously. "I know you're busy." "I'm never too busy for this," Marcus replied. "What's on your mind?" Samuel took a breath. I just got offered a promotion. It's everything I've worked toward. Director level, significant raise, leading a major project, but, Marcus prompted gently, but my wife and I are expecting our first child in 2 months, and this position would require constant travel, 60, maybe 70-hour weeks. She's supportive, but I can see the fear in her eyes. Marcus nodded slowly. What does your gut tell you? That I should take it, that this is my shot, that I'd be stupid to turn it down. And what does your spirit tell you? Samuel looked down at his coffee. That I'm about to make the same mistake you did. The words hung between them. You're not me, Samuel. Maybe you can handle it. Maybe you can balance it. Maybe you're stronger than I was. Samuel looked up hopefully. But, Marcus continued, I've learned something about that word maybe. It's the word we use to gamble with the things we can't afford to lose. Your wife, your child, your peace. Are those things you want to bet on, maybe? But what if this is my only chance? What if I never get offered something like this again? Marcus leaned forward. What if you do get offered something like this again, in 5 years, after you've built a foundation with your family that can support it? What if God's timing isn't about missing out, but about being ready? You turned down a promotion? No, I accepted it, and it nearly destroyed my family. Marcus smiled sadly. But when I finally got my priorities right, when I proved I could be faithful with time management and boundaries, opportunities came that were even better, and I was actually ready for them. Samuel was quiet for a long moment. You think I should say no? I think you should pray, really pray. Ask God what He wants, not what your ambition wants, and then have the courage to obey whatever He says. 5 years after the courtroom dream. Sunday morning, Marcus woke naturally at 6:30 a.m., no alarm needed. Jennifer was still asleep beside him, her breathing soft and steady. He watched her for a moment, still amazed that she'd given him another chance. He slipped out of bed quietly and went to the kitchen, made coffee, sat at the table with his Bible, a habit that had become as natural as breathing. Romans 12:1-2. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Living sacrifice. Marcus used to think that meant working himself to death for God's glory. Now he understood it meant surrendering his ambitions, his timelines, his need for recognition, daily dying to the idol of achievement. Footsteps on the stairs. Emma appeared, rubbing her eyes, now 12 and beautiful. Morning, Daddy. Morning, Princess. Sleep well? She patted over and hugged him from behind. I dreamed you missed my piano competition again. Marcus's heart clenched. But then I woke up and remembered you never miss anything anymore. She squeezed tighter. I love you. I love you too, baby girl. David came down next, 15 now, and towering over both of them. What's for breakfast? Pancakes? Marcus suggested. I'll help, David offered. They cooked together, the kitchen filling with laughter and the smell of butter and vanilla. Jennifer joined them, stealing a kiss from Marcus as she passed. This was success, not the corner office or the title or the salary. This, family, presence, love, time, the things he'd nearly traded for everything else. Marcus's phone rang during dinner. A Tuesday evening, everyone gathered around the table. He glanced at the screen. His boss. 5 years ago, he would have answered immediately, would have excused himself from the table, would have prioritized the call over the conversation. Now, he silenced it and set the phone face down. Who was that? Jennifer asked. Work. They'll leave a voicemail. Emma was telling a story about her friend's drama. David was laughing. Jennifer was refilling water glasses. Normal, beautiful, ordinary, the things Marcus used to rush past to get to important things. Now he knew. This was the important thing. This was the kingdom he was called to build. After dinner, Marcus helped with dishes while David did homework and Emma practiced piano. Dad? David called from the living room. Yeah, son. Can you help me with this math problem? 5 years ago, Marcus would have said, ask your mom, or after I finish this email. Now he dried his hands and sat beside his son. Let's see what you've got. Later that night, after the kids were in bed, Marcus and Jennifer sat on the back porch, watching fireflies dance in the summer darkness. "You got quiet at dinner," Jennifer said softly. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just thinking." "About?" Marcus took her hand. "About how close I came to losing this. All of this." Jennifer squeezed his fingers. "But you didn't. Only because God wouldn't let me, and because you were patient enough to give me another chance. We both had to fight for this," Jennifer said. "I'm not innocent in everything that happened. I could have communicated better, could have demanded boundaries instead of just resenting you. You were drowning while I climbed ladders. And now you're here. We're here. That's what matters." They sat in comfortable silence, the kind that only comes from surviving storms together. "Marcus?" Jennifer's voice was tentative. "I'm proud of you. Not because of your job or your accomplishments. I'm proud of the man you've become, the father you are, the husband you chose to be." Marcus's throat tightened. That means more than any promotion ever could, and he meant it. It hadn't been easy. When Marcus started setting boundaries at work, he faced pushback. Projects were reassigned. Opportunities went to hungrier colleagues. His trajectory slowed. He'd been on track to make senior VP within 2 years. That didn't happen. Some of his peers whispered that he'd lost his edge, that fatherhood had made him soft, that he wasn't as committed anymore. They were right about the last part. He wasn't committed to work above everything else. And he had made peace with that. Because on the other side of that choice was Emma running to hug him when he got home. Was David asking for his advice? Was Jennifer trusting him again? Was peace at 11 p.m. instead of anxiety at 2 a.m.? Was sleeping well instead of drowning in stress? Was actually being present in his own life? Some costs are worth paying, and some prizes aren't worth winning. Marcus had finally learned the difference. One Sunday, Pastor Williams asked Marcus to speak at men's group, the same men's group he'd abandoned years ago. Marcus stood before 30 men of various ages, all juggling work and family and faith. "I'm not here as an expert," he began. "I'm here as a cautionary tale who got a second chance." He shared his story. The climb, the obsession, the loss, the dream, the restoration. When he finished, a man in his 50s raised his hand. "Marcus, I appreciate your story, but some of us don't have the luxury of saying no at work. I'm the primary earner. If I set boundaries, I could lose my job. Then what? How do I provide for my family if I'm unemployed?" It was a fair question, an important question. Marcus nodded. "You're right. And I'm not suggesting recklessness. I'm not saying quit your job or ignore your responsibilities. But I am saying this. Are you stewarding your time, or is it being stolen? Are you being wisely diligent, or are you being driven by fear and ambition?" He paused. There's a difference between working hard to provide and worshiping work, because it makes you feel valuable. Between healthy ambition and toxic drivenness. Between being a good steward and being a slave to achievement. Another man spoke up. "How do you know which one you are?" Marcus smiled sadly. "Ask your wife. Ask your kids. They'll tell you. And if you're brave enough to hear the truth, you'll know." 6 months after that men's group meeting, Marcus got a call from James, the young man who'd approached him in the parking lot years ago. "Mr. Reed, it's James. We met after your testimony about 3 years ago. Of course, how are you?" "I'm good. Really good, actually. I wanted to thank you." "For what?" "After we talked, I went home and had a hard conversation with my wife. We looked at our finances and our priorities. I took a step back from partner track, accepted a senior associate position that actually had reasonable hours." "How'd that go?" "My colleagues thought I was insane, said I'd killed my career, but Mr. Reed, my son is 3 now, and I've been present for every major moment, every first, every bedtime, and last month, you know what he said?" "What?" "He said, 'Daddy, you're my best friend,' and I realized I almost missed this. I almost traded his childhood for a title." Marcus's eyes stung. "James, that's incredible. But here's the thing. Last week, I got offered a different partnership at a firm that values work-life integration. Better pay than the original position, but with actual boundaries. And I'm ready for it now. God's timing was perfect." After they hung up, Marcus sat in his car for a long moment. This was the legacy he wanted. Not the deals he'd closed or the promotions he'd earned, but the lives he'd impacted by being broken enough to be honest. Today, Marcus was director of operations, not VP, not senior VP. He'd plateaued by corporate standards, but by kingdom standards, he was thriving. His marriage was strong, his kids knew him, his faith was alive, his peace was real. He still worked hard, still excelled at his job, still provided well for his family, but work had its place, an important place, but not the ultimate place. Sunday mornings found him in church with his family, not in his office. Weekday evenings found him at the dinner table, not in late meetings. Saturday afternoons found him at soccer games and piano recitals, not catching up on emails. He'd lost the corner office, but he'd gained his life back, and given the choice again, he'd make the same trade 1,000 times over. The day came 15 years after Marcus's awakening. Emma stood in her wedding dress, beautiful and radiant, adjusting her veil in the mirror. "You ready, princess?" Marcus asked from the doorway. She turned, eyes shining. Almost, just nervous. He walked over and took her hands. "You're going to be amazing. And James is a good man. I'm happy for you, Daddy." Her voice went soft. "Thank you." "For what?" "For being here, not just today, but all the days. I know it wasn't always that way. Mom told me some of the story about how things used to be when I was little." Marcus's throat tightened. "But you changed," Emma continued. "You chose us. And because of that, I know what a good father looks like, what a good husband looks like, and I won't settle for less." A tear slipped down Marcus's cheek. "I almost missed this," he whispered. "I almost missed all of it. But you didn't." Emma hugged him tight. "You didn't." Years later, Marcus sat on his porch, retired now, hair gray, body slower, but spirit strong. David's kids played in the yard. Emma's daughter napped on Jennifer's lap. The family had gathered for Sunday dinner, a tradition that had held strong for decades. Marcus watched his grandchildren chase each other through the grass, their laughter ringing like bells. He thought about the dream, the courtroom, the choice. He thought about the corner office he never got back, and he felt nothing but gratitude, because this was the kingdom worth building. Not skyscrapers of achievement, but generations of love. Not empires of success, but legacies of faithfulness. Not titles that would be forgotten, but relationships that would echo into eternity. David sat down beside him, his own son climbing into his lap. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Always." "Do you have any regrets?" Marcus was quiet for a moment, watching the scene before him. "Only one," he said finally, "that I almost let ambition steal this from me, that I almost climbed my way right out of the only thing that actually mattered." "But you didn't." "No," Marcus smiled. "By God's grace, I didn't." His grandson looked up. "Papa, tell us the story again. About when you were too busy for Daddy." David laughed. "Caleb, that's not exactly—" "No, it's okay," Marcus said. He pulled his grandson close. "Let me tell you about a man who almost lost everything chasing the wrong dream, and about the God who loved him enough to wake him up before it was too late." The family gathered closer as the sun set golden over the yard, and Marcus told the story again, not to shame himself, but to remind them, to remind himself, that every morning we choose what kingdom we're building, and only one of them lasts forever.